What happens when golden hour never ends and you test your camera at 2 AM on a glowing mountain peak? Well, that's what we are doing. This is the midnight sun, and this is where cameras get pushed to the limit. We are deep inside the Arctic Circle, where the sun doesn't set and the light never stops. It's the dream and challenge of every landscape photographer. Over the past week, we've been shooting seascapes under pink skies, hiking glowing ridges at midnight, under the most magical and dramatic skies you will ever witness. But this isn't just a travel video. We brought two of Sony's most used landscape cameras, the A7 IV and the A7R V, and tested them in the wild. No tripods in the studio, no charts, just cliffs, rain, ocean, and real photography. If you are a Sony shooter and care about dynamic range, ISO handling, exposure bracketing, or field usability, this is for you. And yes, if you want to experience this madness yourself, we are running this expedition again in 2026. Midnight sun, white light, empty beaches. Links in the descriptions, spots are limited. Let's start with ISO performance. Since we are in full polar daylight, there is no way to shoot real night skies. But we have simulated low light scenarios using ND filters. We shot side-by-side ISO tests from 3200 all the way to 51200. So, when it comes to ISO performance, there are a few key differences between these two cameras. Sony A7 IV offers a native ISO range of 100 to 51200, expandable down to 50 and up to almost 200,000. Sony A7R V, on the other hand, has a native ISO range of 100 to 32,000, expandable to 50 up to 100,000. So, what are the results of our ISO test? Honestly, a bit surprising. At ISO 3200, there's barely any difference between the two cameras. The same goes for ISO 6400, 12,800, and even 25,600. Surprised? We weren't. The only real difference appears at ISO 51,200, where the A7 IV delivers cleaner results and the A7R V begins to show some color artifacts. The reason is simple. ISO 51,200 is still within the A7 IV's native range, but it's already beyond the native range for the A7R V. So, how should we evaluate the results? At high ISOs, both cameras deliver nearly identical performance, which is great news for A7 IV users, but it's also impressive for A7R V shooters. A camera with nearly double the resolution holds up incredibly well against one that should theoretically dominate in high ISO thanks to its lower pixel density. Want to see for yourself? No problem. As always, we are providing free RAW files for download, so you can check the results and decide whether you agree with our conclusions. You will find the download link below the video. Let's talk real-life handling. The A7 IV is lighter, simpler and more efficient with storage. If you hike long distances, it saves weight. Battery life is solid. The A7R V feels like a premium tool. Better screen, better EVF, more customization and dual-axis tilting LCD. But the file sizes are big. You will need more cards, more SSD space and longer backups. If you print large, shoot commercially or do any kind of fine art landscape work, those 61 megapixels matter. If not, the A7 IV might be all you really need. Now on to exposure bracketing. And this is where we get frustrated. Sony gives us zebras, even in live view, which is amazing. You can see highlight clipping before you shoot, but it's useless in continuous bracketing. You can't preview the underexposed frames. So here's what we have to do. Switch to single bracketing mode, adjust exposure using zebras, then switch back to continuous mode to shoot all frames in one press. Come on. Even worse, single mode requires you to press the shutter for every single bracketed shot. It's 2025. This workflow is ancient. Let's go deeper. If you shoot long exposures at night, you probably hate using a cable release. Sony finally solved this in the A7R Mark II by introducing a customizable bulb timer. You can dial in anything from 2 seconds to 900 seconds, no accessories needed. But that feature still hasn't made it into the A7 IV or A7R V, even with the latest firmware updates. Why? No one knows. Until then, we are still packing the cable. Now let's talk about a hidden issue that rarely gets mentioned: heat buildup during long exposures. Both the A7 IV and A7R V suffer from what we call the red haze problem. It's a subtle reddish cast that appears in the corners of your images when shooting multi-minute exposures. It's caused by internal heat, likely from the rear screen and compact body trapping worms. And while we can't demonstrate it here because it's full daylight, we have seen it many times. Here's the fix. Flip the rear screen out during long exposures and open side doors. Especially important on the A7 IV, which tends to run hotter. These tricks will not eliminate the problem completely, but they will help a lot. Durability? It's been raining for days here in the Arctic and both cameras are holding up well. But the A7R V feels slightly better sealed. The buttons are firmer, dials more solid. We trust it a little more in these conditions, but both have handled the moisture surprisingly well. So, what's the final verdict? If you want the best possible image quality in a Sony body and you are okay with the price tag, the A7R V is an incredible tool. It's refined, powerful, and future-proof. The fully articulating screen is a huge advantage, especially in challenging compositions, and the 61 megapixel sensor gives you stunning detail and flexibility. It even handles higher ISOs better than expected. Autofocus, we don't even talk about it. In landscape photography, it's rarely critical. The A7 IV, on the other hand, delivers about 90% of the performance for half the price. It's lighter, simpler, and often more practical in the field. Sure, the resolution is lower and the screen more limited, but for most landscape shooters, it's more than enough. My take: both cameras are excellent, compact, consistent, and proven in the field. The choice comes down to budget and priorities. On our current expedition in Lofoten, one photographer is shooting with the A7R V, but 4 are using the A7 IV. Coincidence? Probably not. The A7 IV offers outstanding value. And what about the future? We are already hearing rumors of an upcoming Sony A7 V. Our wishlist? Around 40 megapixels, a proper bulb timer like in the A7 Mark II, the A7R V's amazing screen, and a single intelligent exposure bracketing mode. If Sony gets that right, it will be a landscape photographer's dream. But what about you? Would you go for the all-round A7 IV or the high-res A7R V? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more field-tested gear reviews, real-world tips, and landscape photography adventures. And if you want to join us out here chasing light, shooting in wild weather, and pushing your skills, check the photo expeditions link in description. Thanks for watching and keep chasing light.
By the way, have you heard that you can join us on our exclusive photography expeditions to Lofoten in Iceland? If you want to know more, check the link below.